And good morning, everyone. As usual, so before the start actual lesson, so we go through meditation or practice. I really hope, all of you really knew the importance of studying Dharma. If we don't know why I need to practice Dharma, what are the reasons I need to practice Dharma? If we don't know the reasoning and the importance, then all our Dharma practice become very tradition. Every day before we start our Dharma practice or Dharma study, first we really need to reflect the intention why I need to practice Dharma. Why? Because not I want to be a rich person, I want to be healthy person, I want to be famous person among my friends, I want to have a bigger family, I want to have a good business, I want to have a good job, I want to have the job continuously. No, those are not the proper reason for studying, for practicing Dharma. The proper reason, the proper answer, we can say, we must say, I want to study Dharma because I want to be free from suffering. I want to practice Dharma because I want to achieve the ultimate happiness. Therefore, I'm going to study Dharma, I'm going to practice Dharma. The practicing Dharma is only for reducing all kinds of sufferings, achieving the happiness and the perfect, the ultimate happiness. So this is the reason we must remember all the time before we practice Dharma. Second, how we should practice Dharma. How we should study or learn Dharma. Then two things is very important. The first, we need like a Dharma books taught by Buddha or taught by the perfect masters. So we should not study any kinds of Dharma books. These days there are so many Dharma books which is written by a person who doesn't have any realization, who doesn't have any experience of the Dharma. Those kind of book looks very nice, very easy to understand, but we may not benefit those books. Therefore, first, we need to choose the right, the perfect books taught by Buddhas. Of course, all Buddha teachings are very perfect teachings. Second, we need to select the Dharma book, which is written by, other masters who has an experience of Dharma, who has the realization of the Dharma. So we need the right Dharma books. And also the right books has a different, like a size. Some book is very extensive, have a maybe few, like 100 pages. Those book is very nice, very perfect. But we, particularly living in the modern kind of live with the modern life, we don't have a lot of time to study all the pages. Therefore, we need to select kind of the perfect book. After we selected the right book, Dharma book, then we need perfect guru. So here we must separate guru and teacher. You can consider me as your teacher, your Dharma friend. You should not consider I am your guru. So you need perfect teacher and perfect guru. The perfect teacher, guru, not necessarily to be very famous, not necessarily to have a high position, not necessarily to have a lot of students and disciples. The perfect teacher, the guru, who has the perfect Dharma knowledge, who practice the 3 mind trainings, plus good heart, very compassionate teacher, plus the teacher or the guru must be very patient. So these things we already have. Everybody have perfect guru. We have the perfect books, Dharma books. Also, so we have been studying the Dharma for many, many years. One problem we have, we just study. We have the knowledge in our mind, but we don't practice. This is very big, great obstacle. Not practicing Dharma, not applying Dharma, particularly when we need it, we don't apply. This is again another great obstacle. Therefore, first we study. At the same time, we must practice what we studied, what we have been studying. So every day, every moment, so we have to apply the Dharma in our daily life. If we apply the Dharma in our daily life, definitely you never feel loneliness, you never feel angry, you never feel jealous, you never feel hated, you hate someone. Also for you, everything looks very peace, everything is very happy. Because you apply the Dharma, there's no way the negative thoughts can be functioning. If we control the negative thoughts, everything's become positive. Therefore, we need to study. At the same time, I say at the same time, we need to practice. Otherwise, studying Dharma, attending Dharma class, having Dharma knowledge, the cause to arise your ego, your jealousy, your angry, your hatred. If this is happened for you, since I practice Dharma, I'm become more negative person. I'm jealous someone. I'm angry someone. Or I feel very proud, about my study, my practice. Meaning the Dharma is causing to generate negative thoughts. This means you are taking medicine for elevate, for cure your sickness, but the medicine turned into poison. All the medicine turned into poison, still you are taking the medicine continuously. Then our sickness of attachment, anger become more worse. Make sure studying Dharma, practicing Dharma, attending Dharma class cannot never be, let them cause to arise negative thoughts. If you have this kind of feeling, you must realize, the Dharma, instead of benefit me, is harming me. Then you better to stop study Dharma, better to stop practice Dharma. Or you must realize it's causing negative thoughts. I should not, have this kind of ego, jealousy, hatred. So my main point is telling you, studying is very important. Not only study, at the same time, practice. If you do Dharma practice every day, make sure the Dharma practice, not let cause to arouse your ego. If you have this kind of, like a experience, that means the Dharma turn into poison. So how we can, practice the Dharma very purely? How? That means it's very simple. When Buddha turned the wheel of Dharma first time in the Varanasi, first he asked the disciple, come, closer to me, or come on. He was saying, actually, we need to practice morality. Then he didn't explain emptiness, like a Buddhahood. No. He explained the Four Noble Truths. Among the four, Buddha Shakyamuni, he didn't explain path and path to liberation, Buddhahood. No. First, Buddha explained the truth of suffering. The truth of suffering. Realize the truth of suffering. Among the four characteristics of the four truth of sufferings, first, Buddha taught impermanence. Impermanence. This is a very, very important practice. Impermanence. He didn't say, emptiness, selflessness, so and so. First, he taught impermanence. So this is a very important point, because our daily practice, most time we dedicate for this life, for next life, for after next life, because we haven't realized impermanence and death. Impermanence and death. Right? We everybody 100% sure, we sure one day we're going to die. We're going to die. Death will come. We know will come. But we never think it will come anytime. Also, we know everything is changing. All the condition phenomena are changing. But we haven't realized everything is changing momentarily. 1 minute pass, 1 hour pass, 1 day pass. We are more closer to the death. Therefore, at the beginning of our practice, first we need to understand impermanence, changing momentarily. Every moment passing every moment, we are closer to the death. Like when you buy the new product, it has an expire. 1 hour finish, the product going to expire, more closer to the expire, closer to the ending of the expire. Therefore, we need to reflect on impermanence, changing momentarily, and particularly death. The mind, which is realized impermanent death, we need to have all the time. In the morning, you remember impermanence and death. Then, after breakfast, we already forgot the death. Then our action become more negative. If you always remember that death come anytime, then we not dedicate our practice for this life. We never know how long we can live, how long we can last our lives. Right? That may look like, above our head, there's a kind of, very powerful weapon, very big sword, very big knife, our head. The big sword can be fall on our head anytime. If you remember that, you feel scared. So when you remember death, then you need to remember what happened after our death. After my death, what happened? Right? Therefore, practice impermanence, particularly meditate on the death. Try to free from attachment. Attachment for your name, fame, position, belongings, family, no attachment. Should not attach with this life. Also, we should not have a strong attachment for next life, after next life. Then your practice becomes very pure. Right? So therefore, I requesting you as a beginner, it is so important to practice, not study, practice, do meditation, control our negative thoughts, control our emotion. For example, yesterday, one of your, dearest, like one passed away, for example. Today you feel very upset about it. You feel very unhappy about it. Also, you feel very lonely. lonely. Because before he or she passed away, you didn't, you didn't realize he or she's impermanence can be lived anytime. If you realize impermanent death, someone passed away, of course we have to do a lot of, recitation, chanting, dedication. No need to feel upset, loneliness, because it doesn't mean he or she is the last time we are meeting. So if you're able to control your negative emotion, that there's no such as, feel loneliness, upset, unhappy. No, you become very happy and peaceful person. Meditation. Therefore, today we go through the 7-point mind training. Before, I think we go through the 8 verses, the mind training through the meditation. Also, many of you thinking, oh, the 8 verses for mind training is very simple. I know how to practice. Yes, when you read the sentence, it looks very simple, very short teaching. If you really go through the actual practice, not easy. Also, within the practice of 8 verses of mind training, it includes all the practices. Impermanence, renunciation, great compassion, Buddhichita, emptiness, 6 perfection, controlling your anger, hatred, attachment, ego. So if you really seriously practice this, like 8 the verses of mind training, meaning you are practicing all Buddha teaching. We should not, just think, ignore this practice. So this is very simple. I ask you to memorize. I think some of you already memorized fully. Some of you memorize maybe, a few verses. So please memorize. So anything happen, negative happen, just recite these verses related to your problems. Problem, right? The first verses, so we chant, we do short, like try to have an experience, do short meditation. With a determination to achieve the highest aim for the benefit of all sentient beings, which surpasses even the wish-fulfilling gem. May I hold them dear at all time. That means I want to be a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Therefore, since today, I hold all sentient beings, surpasses with a wish fulfilled gem, like gem. Now everybody just, visualize all sentient beings, respect or accept them most important than anything else. Then why, I have to hold them dear at all time? Very simple logics. Just you look around your house, the light, the water, the air condition, the food, the furniture, your clothes, even to include your body, everything's provided by others. Without others, we won't have anything. Therefore, others are very important. All sentient beings are very important for our happiness for this life. If you wish to be a Buddha, without all sentient beings, without rely on all sentient beings, we cannot achieve Buddhahood. We cannot practice Buddhichita. We cannot practice great compassion. Therefore, others are most important than anything else. For this life, for next life, after next life, achieving liberation, achieving Buddhahood, practicing great compassion, Buddhichita, so and so. Therefore, we hold all sentient beings dear at all times. That means now there's no enemy. Therefore, you reduce your anger, reduce your hatred. Somebody little bit harm you. When you remember, those are most important than anything else. Anger going to be disappear. So this is explain achievement, how to achieve through Buddhichita, how to practice Buddhichita, hold them dear at all time. And the original, the 8 verse turning has actually, they say, may I tend, practice them dear at all time. That means my mind wish to tend, hold all sentient being dear at all time. Then one of the Kadamba, they change, they say, aspire me. Original has a tend my mind. Second, whenever I interact with someone, anyone, whenever I interact with anyone, when we visit, like a very rich family, we have a respect. We respect them. When we meet famous people, rich people, successful people, better than you, we respect. But when we go, when we meet someone who are inferior than you, we don't have a respect. Therefore, whenever I interact with anyone, may I view myself as the lowest among all. And from the very depth of my heart, respectfully hold others as superior. Once more, whenever I interact with anyone, someone, may I view myself as the lowest among all, and from the very depth of my heart, respectfully hold others as superior. Also, this sentence is a sentence for how to reduce your ego, reduce your pride. Also, this sentence teach us how to practice the bodhicitta based on exchanging self and other. Other are superior. Self-centered attitude is the source of suffering. Other, cherishing others. Others, I think we can say, other-centered attitudes. Other-centered attitudes are the source of happiness. The third paragraph. In all my deeds, may I prove into my mind, and as soon as mental, emotional affliction arise, as they endanger myself and other, may I strongly conform them and avoid them. This paragraph is teaching us when we practice Dharma, make sure our intention is very pure. Make sure our Dharma practice, our Dharma study doesn't influence by any negative thoughts. Also, when we do this for others, make sure it's not caused by ego, not motivated by ego, attachment, jealousy. So every time you need to check your motivation, your intention, your mind. So you can do, just 20 minutes or 10 minutes, you can watch your mind. You look your intention. Almost for the 20 minutes, we have only negative thoughts, not much positive thoughts. So every moment when we do something is driven or motivated by our thoughts. Can be negative thoughts, can be positive thoughts, can be neutral. So you need to check. When you check, most time you found all your deeds motivated by negative or like a neutral, not much positive. But sometimes you found, this is motivated by positive. But the positive, make sure not influenced by jealous. For example, you heard, somebody have done like a 1 month kind of Dharma practice, 1 month retreat. When you hear, suddenly you feel, I want to do 1 month retreat, maybe 1 week retreat. I want to do. That time maybe you have a jealousy, or maybe you when you hear it hurt your ego, therefore you want to do the meditation practice. This also look like that motivated by a positive mind, actually is a negative. Right? Therefore, always check your mind. Then all the deeds become positive. Without checking, you have done so many things, mostly it can be the negative. Then the last 2 sentences, as they endanger myself and others, may I strongly conform them and avoid them. So when you realize, this moment, I have an attachment, should not let it arise continuously. the reduce, control. Oh, now I feel I have a sense of hatred. Not let it arise continuously. If you let it arise continuously, then at the end you cannot control. Right? Therefore, check your mind. If you feel the positive mind, continuously let it arise, let it function. If you realize, oh, there's a negative thought this moment, immediately, I say immediately, you conform, you reduce, you control. How? Oh, I have anger, I recite mantra. Yes, reciting mantra is very good, but reciting mantra cannot be, the right antidote to reduce your anger. Therefore, immediately you need to think about the opposite of the anger, which is compassion, which is patience. Just practice compassion towards the person, reduce the anger immediately. Doesn't matter towards your family, towards your husband and wife, towards your friends, you need to reduce the anger, applying compassion, love and compassion. Otherwise, anger can arise, is bring a lot of negative energy. The fourth, when I see beings of unpleasant character and those oppressed by the strong negativity and suffering, may I hold them dear, for they are rare for find, as if I have discovered a jewel treasures. So when I see the beings of unpleasant character, means in Tibetan we say, naturally, kind of have a bad character. Naturally, the person have a very unpleasant character within your family, within your friends, within your neighbors, within your co-workers. You always can see there are so many people, naturally they have a very unpleasant character. When you woke up early morning, you say good morning to one of your family. They ignore your, greeting. Then you say, oh, thank you so much. And that person also ignore. The person doesn't have any appreciation what you have done for them. This is, we feel very unpleasant person, right? So that means slowly you accumulate a lot of slowly anger and hatred for the person. Doesn't matter your family or friends, neighbors, or your dear one. You always be being nice with them, but their character is always very unpleasant towards you, right? Then slowly you build up the anger and hatred for slowly. Then one day you saw he has a big problem. Then how do we feel? We feel very happy about it. It's good. No, here's the problem. It's good. We feel very good. We feel happy to have problem for the people who are very, has a unpleasant character. For example, you're always very nice being with your colleague. Then you slowly, you really hate the colleague. When he or she has a lot of problem, you feel happy. So we should not be like that. Therefore, when I see beings of unpleasant character and those oppressed by the strong negativity and suffering, may I hold them dear, because they are rare to find, as if I have discovered a jewel treasure. When we see this kind of people has a problem, you should not feel happy. You feel, sorry, or then immediately you must generate love and compassion instead of hating the person. So if you have this kind of experience within your families, so when you feel this kind of feeling, you just recite these verses. The fifth one is another one. When other, out of jealousy, treat me wrongly with the abuse, slander, and scorn, may I take upon myself the defeat and offer to other the victory. Right? I said it's very common in the human society. Out of jealousy, actually, whatever you have through your own perfect effort. Everything is come you naturally or through your perfect effort. So you have a good name and fame, you have a good position, you have a lot of possess, you have a lot of friends and family, you look very perfect person, then other people jealous. Other people not refer to other total your family. No, even within your family, they jealous you. Or your friend jealous you. Then out of jealousy, then they treat you wrongly. Then they abuse you. Then they slander you. Then they scrod you. How do you feel? They abuse you because out of jealousy, not out of the truth, not out of the fact. Jealousy. Then we feel very upset. We feel very angry. We should not. Therefore, may I take upon myself the defeat and offer to other the victory. So if you are very, have a stable mind, let them abuse me. Let them slander me. Let them across me. You feel I'm okay. If they feel happy, let them do whatever they want. You offer the victoria, you take the defeat or loss. That means again, you are practicing giving and taking. This also teach us you how to practice giving and taking. Give all the victoria to others. Take all the defeat and suffering. Practicing giving and taking, right? Therefore, when other out of jealousy or out of anger, out of hatred, whatever, treat me wrongly with the abuse, slander, scorn, may I take upon myself the defeat and I offer to other the victory. Right? When somebody abuse you, somebody slander you, if you really hurt yourself, mean you have a very strong self-centered attitude. You always think I am the most important than anybody else. Right? This is teaching us how to practice giving and taking. Therefore, it's a very common in our life. Out of jealousy, people have done so many things you will done in the future. Make sure you always practice giving and taking. Number 6, when someone whom I have helped, when someone whom I help, within your family, within your colleague, within your friends, neighbor, whom I help. You always, giving, helping to them. you always help others. Then, or in whom I have placed great hope. For example, due to this day, due to the COVID, many people have a financial problem. But in the past, you always help others. You always support others. And this moment, you hope, oh, my friend can help me because in the past, I have been helping them. You have a hope. Instead of helping to you, then the mistreat you, the mistreat me, extremely hurtful way. How do you feel? You always help them, but they harm you. You as a really, hope they can help you. Instead of helping, they harm you. How do you feel? Feel very hurt. Therefore, may I regard them still as my precious teacher. So you should not get angry, should not hate the person, always respect them as your teacher, precious teacher. Because through this kind of environment, you can practice patience. Practice patience. If you lost patience, then immediately you lost compassion. If you lost compassion among the, among the all sentient beings, one person, then no great compassion, no Buddhichita. Therefore, we read this one, do short meditation. When someone whom I have, or in whom I place great hopes, mistreat me extremely hurtful way, may I regard them still as my precious teacher. The seventh paragraph is a kind of, conclusion of the practicing of conventional Buddhichita. In brief, may I offer benefit and joy to all my mothers, both directly and indirectly. May I quietly take upon myself all hurts and pains of my mother. This is generally how you practice, give and taking. And also, when you meditate on compassion for all sentient beings, suddenly, you remember your enemy, then you cannot practice compassion. This sentence you can change. In brief, may I offer benefit and joy to my enemy. Particular, you can name, you can mention the name. For example, in brief, may I offer benefit and joy to Mr. A or Mrs. B, both directly and indirectly. May I quietly take upon myself all the hurt and pains of Mr. A and Mr. B. You particularly mention the person name and do a lot of, practice of giving and taking, practice of love and compassion, then slowly the sense of hate and anger, goes away. The last sentence is, explaining how to practice the ultimate Buddhichita. May all this remain undefiled. Doesn't matter which practice you have been doing, practicing great compassion, love, Buddhichita, six perfection, reciting mandala, prostrating, mandala offering, fruits and flower to Buddha, or offering food and clothes or medicine for the people who need it. Doesn't matter which practice you have been doing. Make sure all that practice must be very pure, undefiled. May all this remain undefiled by the stints of the eight, the Mandan's concern. I ask you to study about what are the eight, the Mandan concerns. This is all our practice have to be very pure, particularly, and may I recognizing all things as illusion, devoid of clinging, be released from bondage. So usually what we do, whatever we do based on the eight worldly concerns. For example, you have been doing so many, good things for others. If somebody praise you, wow, you are a very good person, you are a very, kind person, you have such a good heart that you feel good about. Again, your mind is, influenced by one of the eight worldly concerns. You feel good about. Or you have been doing good things for all the time. Somebody, criticize about your good actions. Somebody, look down your good action. Then we feel very upset, unhappy. Again, you are influenced by one of the eight worldly concerns. Or, for example, I'm like a TBC resident teacher. I tried to teach Dharma for many, many years. Then somebody offered me food and clothes or money, whatever. If I feel good, I'm a resident teacher, I'm receiving things from others, you feel good about. Again, my Dharma class, teaching Dharma class, again influenced by one of the worldly concern. Or I'm being a resident teacher, I haven't received anything from others. Then I feel upset. I feel unhappy. That means, again, teaching Dharma influenced by one of the worldly concerns. Right? Therefore, everything in order to control the negative thoughts, in order to control the worldly concerns, the best practice is practicing impermanence. So this is a kind of revision for the versus maintaining. So it's a very short teaching, but contents conclude all the Buddha teaching within the 8 verses. Please everybody memorize. After you memorize, bad thing happen, just recite one of the verses related to the problems. It's a very, I think everybody have experience. When something happened, immediately we need to control the negative thoughts. Otherwise, it arises for whole day, whole nights, all week, all year. That means due to this, not let it go, is bring a lot of suffering, emotional suffering, mental suffering. Therefore, whatever is happened, we realize it's happened. Control your negative thoughts, control your negative emotion right there. Right there. Just, clean right there. Therefore, immediate antidotes. So now we go through the 7 points of training the mind. 7 points. Right? So before that, we need to know what are the 7 points. What are the 7? Right? It written by Geshe Chekawa Ishidorje. Also, the 8 verses mind training is written by Geshe Langri Thangpa. Geshe. Geshe doesn't mean who has a certificate, the Geshe certificate. No. Geshe mean the meaning of Ge mean virtues or practice. She mean know. A person know how to practice Dharma. The person know how to do the perfect virtues. Therefore, Geshe, Langri Thangpa is the name. But he has a nickname. Langri Thangpa, black face. Black face is a nickname. What does mean the black face? He always have to always be very serious. He never have a smile. He never have show very happy face. All the time his face was very serious. He never, I think, have a kind of smile. Therefore, nickname is the black face Langri Thangpa. Then one day, one of the disciples, informed him. People were saying, you have a nickname, which is black face Langri Thangpa. Then he said, do you think there's a kind of time we have a happy face? When I meditate impermanence, when I meditate on the truth of suffering, particularly the pervasive suffering, when I reflect suffering on all sentient beings, he said, I never have a smile, laughing. This one, nickname. In his life, according to the history, in his life, after he practiced the Lamrim, in his life, he has only one time like a smile. He feel love. Because he set up the mandala offering in front of him and aside of him, he set up a mandala offering. In the mandala, there's a turquoise, piece of turquoise in the mandala. So he was, I think, meditating. Then one mouse, came around the mandala. The mouse tried to, steal or, try to take the turquoise. The turquoise was quite heavy, so he could not take by himself. Then he asked another mouse to help him to take the turquoise. He was just watching and observing, and he laughed. Only one time he has a laugh, Geshe Langri Thangpa. The Geshe Chekawa, the 7 points of mind, attaining the mind. What are the 7? I think everybody has the soft copy. Among the 7, number 1, presentation of the preliminary or the basis. Point number 1, preliminary or basis practice. Point number 1, or the first is look like the foundation or basis. Point number 1, presentation of the preliminaries or presentation of the basis of the mind training. Or mind training refer to the bodhicitta. We can say presentation of the preliminary or the basis to practice bodhicitta. Very important. Basis, foundation for practicing bodhicitta. Right? That means bodhicitta is look like a building. In order to build the building, we need solid foundation. We need solid basis. Therefore, the preliminary or the basis are very important. Number 1. What is the point number 2? Attaining in the awakening mind, the main practice. When you have a basis, when you have a foundation to practice, then what we need to practice? We need to practice bodhicitta. The two types of bodhicitta is put together. Attaining the awakening mind of the conventional bodhicitta, awakening mind of the ultimate bodhicitta. Two kinds. What is the third points? Third points. Taking adverse condition into the path of enlightenment. Right? You have the foundation, then you're able to practice the two types of bodhicitta. Then you're able to, you're able to take the adverse condition into the path of enlightenment. There's an order. First foundation, practice true bodhicitta, then you can transform or you can take the adversary condition into the path of enlightenment. This is point number 3. Please remember, point number 1, point number 2, the point number 3. Then the point number 4. The presentation of lifetime's practice in summary. Right? That means the presentation of lifetime, how all the practices you can put into very simple order, you can practice whole your life. Kind of summary. Presentation of a lifetime's practice in summary. Then point number 5, presentation of the measure of having trained the mind. Then how we know my mind totally turned into bodhicitta. Bodhicitta, how I know, right? Therefore, presentation of the measure means the how I know of having trained the mind, having trained my mind into bodhicitta. How I know. This is number 5. What is the point number 6? The presentation of the commitment of the mind training. Commitment. Since you have taken the Bodhisattva vows, since you have cultivated bodhicitta, you have a commitments. Commitments mean you must do, you mustn't do. Commitments. The 6th presentation of the commitments of the mind training. Then 7, Point number 7, precipitation of the precepts of the mind training. You can say precepts or you can say samaya. So now you can see it's a very important. I hope you will be able to see, able to understand. First, we need foundation. We need basis. Without basis, without foundation, if you think and practice, like Buddhichita, emptiness, liberation, Buddha, no, it's baseless. First, we need the foundation, not a soft foundation. We need solid foundation. Number 1. Then, based on the solid foundation, then we can practice any of the Buddhichita, ultimate and conventional Buddhichita. According to Manjushri, first we need to realize conventional Buddhichita, which is emptiness. Then we can practice the first we need to practice ultimate Buddhichita. We need to realize emptiness. Second, then we can practice the conventional Buddhichita. After you fully generated the 2 Buddhicittas, then you're able to transform, you're able to take the adverse condition into the path. Therefore, anything happen in your life, everything become conducive condition to practice the path. Good thing happen, it cause to achieve enlightenment. Bad thing happen, you seriously ill, you seriously sick, you are totally, desperate with the food and clothes. Everything become cause to achieve enlightenment. In order to, transform the adverse condition into the path, you need to practice the 2 Buddhichita, conventional and ultimate. Order has a 2. First ultimate, then second is the conventional. According to Guru Puja, first conventional Buddhichita, then ultimate Buddhichita. Right? According to Mitriya teaching, first conventional, then ultimate. According to Manjushri, first ultimate, second conventional. Then Atisha combine these 2 lineages together. Right? Then third, if you know how to transform, how to cause all the adverses, the condition into path, then you will know, the summary, all the Buddha teachings, all the practices, how to summarize into, I think, 5 powers in whole life. In all the practices, all the Buddha teachings, you can include, you can summarize into 5 powers. So first, for homework, you need to know what are the 5 powers. I think you need to look at the page number 32, or maybe in end of the book, maybe there's I think glass, what you call, Samad 32. Then after you practice Buddhichita, after you know how to transform the adversity into path to enlightenment, then you will realize, oh, now my mind is fully trained into Bodhicitta, right? Then there's a commitments. Since your mind trained into Mahayana path, trained into Bodhicitta, trained into great compassion, this is your commitment. You must do, you should do, you should not do. Commitments. Then, precept means you always have to maintain. Then your practice is very complete, right? These are the 7 points Now we go a little bit with the first one. Presentation of the preliminaries and basis. First, turn in the preliminaries. So, what are the foundation I must have before I practice Buddhichita? What are they? I think there's only, let's say, three. First, you need to rely on a guru. Then you need a perfect guru. I've said many times, when you're sick, when you're seriously ill, we need the perfect doctor. You need to rely on the guru, and not just accept he or she is my perfect guru. You must have a very pure, solid devotion to your guru. In order to have a solid, pure devotion, first we need a guru who has all the characteristics. We need, qualified guru. Then you must remember, I already explained, with the guru how we take Bodhisattva vows. Without guru, how we take Bodhisattva vows. We need to qualify. We need to rely on the qualified guru. So qualify, right? Then here I tell you one important, like a story or tradition. I hope I can find the pages. Okay, it doesn't matter. During the Atisha and Domdemba in Tibet, there were two traditions, traditions. One tradition, I think Atisha said, we should not have many gurus. We must have like a few important gurus. Atisha has three important gurus. One is Guru Selingpa from Indonesia. The second is, I think, youngest Usali. Third one, I think, Shanti Rakshata. These three are his main gurus. Then Domdemba, he has I think, many gurus. There's a two tradition. You can have many gurus. You can have a very selected few gurus. Two tradition. Now after, I think, Atisha and Domdemba, pass away, we can say, taken into parinirvana. Then later the disciples are discussed, which is the good. Having, many gurus, have a very few selective guru, which is better, which is good. Then after they discuss for a long time, they make a conclusion. If your mind is very stable, able to view all the guru are like a Buddha. You have a stable mind, able to view, able to accept all the gurus are like a Buddha. Then having many gurus, lot of gurus is good. Your mind is not stable. You don't have a stable mind. You're not able to view. You are not able to see all the gurus are like a Buddha. Then better to have a very few selected gurus, not many. Right? There's two lineages. Then the conclusion is, If your mind is very stable, you have the stability mind, able to see all the gurus like a Buddha, then it's okay, you can have many gurus. If your mind is not stable, you're not able to believe, you're not able to accept, you're not able to see all gurus are like a Buddha, then better to have a very few, or just one or two, or maybe three. Not many is better. Now, up to you. You can have many gurus, you can have just one or two or three gurus, it's up to you. You check your mind. Right? Therefore, first, you need to rely on our gurus. How many gurus? Qualified guru. Right? The second is preliminary practice. After you rely on guru, then you listen teaching. The first, you need to realize impermanence. You need to realize, momentarily changing impermanence and death. When you really realize, the subtle impermanence, you always remember the death, remember the suffering of the three lower realms, then we're going to take refuge. So taking refuge. Again, seriously taking refuge to divulgence is again depends on realizing impermanence, depend on, have the right understanding of the death, and also recall the suffering of the three lower realms, then you can have a perfect refuge and impermanence. Also, according to practicing impermanence, I have a very important, story. One of the Kadampa, he said, I can meditate on one single object for many, many days. I can meditate on one object for many days. Also, I can practice the generation and completion state, two stages. I can practice. But he said, at the end, I chosen to practice impermanence. Is bring all practice together, right? Therefore, we think I'm Buddhist. We think, every day I take refuge to Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. Yes, we have been taking refuge. We believe I'm Buddhist, but we haven't realized the subtle impermanence. We don't have the strong understanding of the death, non-attachment about this life, non-attachment for next life. Also, we haven't fully realized the suffering of the three realms. Therefore, our refuge, taking refuge is just kind of, culture. So taking refuge. Then, after you realize the suffering of the three realms, suffering of the samsara, then we can generate the renunciation. Taking refuge, realize impermanence, generate Buddhichita, renunciation. Then, when you generate renunciation, so you remember, when you realize your own suffering, you generate renunciation. When you realize, suffering of other beings, you generate great compassion, love. Then Buddhichita, right? So therefore, rely on the gurus. Realize subtle impermanence. Understand the suffering of the three realms, suffering of the samsara, generate renunciation. When you reflect your own suffering, you generate renunciation. when you reflect suffering of other beings, you generate love, great compassion. Those are the preliminary or basis. Then generating Buddhichita is very easy because you have the solid foundation. Okay, so today we discuss mainly about the first presentation. For you, for homework. First, please everybody, please memorize the 8 verses maintaining. Okay, so we have a 1 week to memorize. Then second, I give you what are the 3 roots of the virtues, number 26. Maybe it's page number, I'm not sure. Then with the 3 views, 28. Treasure of space, 29. Buddha deeds, 30. Those are the, I think, homework for you, particularly the 5 powers. So these are the homework. You have 2 homeworks. First, for the within 1 week, please memorize the 8 verses maintaining, and remember the 7 points. Particularly, you must study about what are the 5 powers. This is homework. Next time, I just click the Zoom, then I check how many people attend. Then I say, for this, I can see like a Kim Lo. I can ask, can you recite, can you chant the 8 verses maintaining? Then I can just go. Oh, so I said, HH307, please, what are? I ask you to chant. And I just click, and suddenly I can see, Stephen Ho. I can say, Stephen Ho, can you chant the, the 8 verses maintaining? I let you chant. I ask you to chant complete. Therefore, everybody memorize. Okay, we have a few minutes. We have a time for Q&A.
Yeah, Dharma brothers and sisters, it's the Q&A sessions now. If you have any questions, feel free to raise your hand, or you can type it in the chat window.
Also, I ask you to memorize. Then I said, I will ask, any of you to chant. Then some of you worry, I cannot memorize, I'm not good at attend class. So you should not be like that, okay? You don't worry, still you must attend the class. If you could not memorize, then I can check how many, verses you memorize. If you memorize 2 or 3 programs, which is very good, also will be very useful, particularly when you are sick. So when you are in the hospitalized, so when you are, almost, ending of the life, if you are able to memorize, if you are able to chant, cannot chant, still remember the 8 verses, and maintaining is a perfect power. It will be the most important practice can be in, the moment of, when we are drying. So please memorize. Okay, no question, then we can stop here. Look like no question.
Yeah, there's no questions.
Okay. Actually, I had I think the first edition of the book. Any of you have the 4th, the last edition, you can ask me, for until next week. I'm using the first edition. No question, then okay, so thank you so much for attending the Dharma class. And, I wish you have a happy Sunday. Also, now the COVID, the number of patients increasing. So you should not be very agitated. You should not be very scared. Just relax. Try to be safe yourself. You wear mask. You know all the protocol. So therefore, please everybody try to be very safe. At the end, we do dedications. So during our Dharma class, we have accumulated, a great amount of merits. All the merits we have accumulated this morning. First, we dedicate for becoming Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Second, we dedicate the merit for able to practice the Dharma, particularly to able to practice Buddhichita, to able to practice the 7-point mind training. Third, we dedicate all the merit to benefit all sentient beings, to benefit your families, all your families, your friends and co-workers and neighbors, particularly dedicate the merit to benefit the people who made a contribution for soul offering for 1 month. So tomorrow is the last day of the 1 month soul offering. We have, I think, more than 500 people named. So also dedicate the merit to benefit for them. Last, we dedicate the merit to live long life all the lineage gurus and dedicate the merit for world peace. Okay, thank you so much. Then have a happy Sunday.